trap unveiled. As night fell, Eagle convened a meeting in the aftermath of the 10 great assassins' defeat at the hands of the mighty gorilla. Every member attended, their faces marked with the scars of recent battle and the weight of their defeat. Lionheart was the first to speak. "Boss," he began, his voice steady but laden with conviction, "this was clearly a trap set for us. Someone out there wants to eliminate all of us. And I mean every single member of the 10 great assassins. They knew our attack strategy, our timing, everything." The room fell silent as Lionheart's words sank in. "They knew precisely how we operate," he continued, his eyes scanning the faces of his comrades. "They anticipated our every move. The blinding lights, the archers in position, and Rondu's presence, none of this was a coincidence. It was all meticulously planned to catch us off guard and take us down." He paused, letting the gravity of the situation settle in. "This isn't just a rival gang trying to protect their territory. This is a calculated effort to wipe us out completely. Someone has been watching us, studying us, and they know our weaknesses. We need to find out who it is and how they got this information. Until we do, none of us are safe." The other assassins nodded in agreement, their expressions shifting from confusion to determination. The realization of betrayal and the need for a new strategy galvanized them, each member silently vowing to uncover the truth and turn the tide in their favor. The trap had been unveiled, and the 10 great assassins were ready to strike back. The confrontation looms. Lionheart continued, "I suspect that person is Silverback. Silverback is Rondu. But what's strange is that Rondu didn't kill us all. I truly don't understand what happened." Silverback, bewildered, quickly interjected, "It wasn't me. He trailed off, unable to find the words to explain. Eagle spoke up, "It's not Silverback. In a few days, Silverback will fight Rondu as per our plan. Then, everyone will see that Silverback is entirely innocent in this matter." "But," Lionheart began, but Eagle cut him off. "Enough. We won't discuss this any further. Let's move on to another topic. Lionheart, let me ask you, can Silverback defeat Rondu?" Lionheart hesitated before speaking. "Rondu possesses unmatched strength equal to Silverback's. I've fought him. Silverback has no chance against Rondu. Both are equally determined." Lionheart faltered, unsure how to continue. Eagle's voice was calm but firm. "I understand. I will plan carefully for Silverback." The room grew quiet as Lionheart's words hung in the air. He had confirmed his suspicion that Silverback and Rondu were the same, yet the mystery of their true identities and intentions remained unsolved. The comparison of their strengths painted a picture of two formidable warriors, each a match for the other. The upcoming confrontation between Silverback and Rondu loomed large, promising to reveal truths that could alter the course of their struggle. Eagle's determination to clear Silverback's name and devise a strategy underscored the gravity of the situation. The 10 great assassins knew that the battle ahead would be one of their most challenging yet, and they needed to be prepared for whatever revelations and outcomes it might bring. The inner dialogue. As the remnants of the 10 great assassins retreated, Silverback found himself engulfed in a strange sense of déjà vu. The sight of Rondu, the warrior who had spared them, stirred something deep within him. He couldn't shake the feeling of familiarity, and it gnawed at the edges of his consciousness. Suddenly, a voice echoed in his mind, a voice that was both his own and yet distinct. "Rondu is you. You are Rondu. You are one and the same. How can you fight against yourself?" Silverback was startled, his thoughts racing. "How can this be? I don't know who Rondu is." The voice, calm and patient, persisted. "Trust me, Silverback. You are Rondu. Do you want to know who your parents are?" Silverback's heart pounded as he responded, "Yes. Tell me who my parents are." The voice continued, "Your mother was Durika, a noble and beautiful woman. Your father was Ruda, a true warrior, but he lost his way." Silverback felt a pang of sorrow and confusion, "But I don't know them. Are they still alive?" The voice, filled with a sad wisdom, replied, "Your parents are gone. But you will understand soon enough." Silverback struggled to comprehend the revelation. The idea that he could be someone else entirely, that his very identity was a complex tapestry woven with strands of another life, was overwhelming. "Why do I feel like I'm fighting a part of myself?" he asked, more to himself than to the voice. The voice responded, "Because you are. Your battle with Rondu is a battle within. You were separated, split into two, but you are one. Your memories, your strength, your essence, they all belong to the same person." Silverback felt a flicker of recognition. Images flashed through his mind, glimpses of a past he couldn't fully remember. A woman's face, kind and gentle. A man, strong and resolute. A childhood filled with love and training, with hopes and dreams that had been shattered and scattered. "Tell me more," Silverback urged, needing to piece together the puzzle of his existence. The voice obliged. Durika was a beacon of light, always nurturing and protecting. Ruda, despite his fall from grace, was a formidable warrior who wanted nothing more than to see his family safe. When tragedy struck, you were separated from your true self. Eagle found you in your broken state and molded you into Silverback, but Rondu, your true identity, remained buried within. Silverback's mind reeled with the implications. The life he knew, the battles he fought, and the loyalty he felt to Eagle, all of it was cast in a new light. "Why didn't Eagle tell me the truth?" he wondered aloud. The voice offered a somber explanation. "Eagle used your fractured state to shape you into his weapon. He knew the full potential of Rondu, and he sought to control that power. By keeping you in the dark, he ensured your loyalty and obedience." A surge of anger and betrayal coursed through Silverback. He felt the weight of manipulation and deceit that had defined his life. "I need to know more," he demanded. "How do I reconcile these two parts of myself?" The voice was gentle but firm. "You must embrace both identities. Understand that Rondu and Silverback are one. Your strength, your skills, and your memories, they all belong to you. Only by accepting this truth can you unlock your full potential and find the peace you seek." Silverback took a deep breath, the truth settling over him like a heavy cloak. He knew that the path ahead would be difficult, but it was a journey he had to undertake. For his sake, and for the sake of the world that needed both his strength and his wisdom. "I will find a way," he vowed, both to himself and to the voice within. "I will uncover the truth and reclaim my identity. I will honor my parents' memory and forge a new path forward." The voice, now a part of him, whispered, "You are stronger than you know. Trust in yourself, and you will succeed." With a newfound sense of purpose, Silverback, no, Rondu, prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He would confront Eagle, he would protect those he cared about, and he would bring peace to a world mired in chaos. But first, he would have to reconcile the two halves of his soul and become whole once more. The challenge of identity. A few days later, Heist summoned Rondu to his office, his expression serious. "You have received a challenge from Silverback," Heist said, looking directly into Rondu's eyes. "What do you think? Do you really want to fight him?" Rondu felt a surge of conflicting emotions, but maintained his composure. "I've heard he is unbeatable," Rondu replied. "The strongest warriors have fallen at his hands. I want to test my strength and accept his challenge." Heist nodded, respecting Rondu's resolve. "I will send our response," he said simply. As Rondu left the office, his mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. "Am I really Silverback?" he pondered. The question had been haunting him ever since his encounter with the 10 great assassins. The similarities, the flashes of familiarity, everything pointed to a deeper connection that he needed to understand. This fight, he thought, this will reveal the truth. Through this battle, I will discover if I am truly Silverback. Rondu knew that this confrontation was about more than just a physical battle. It was a quest for identity, a journey to uncover the secrets of his past. He needed to know if the man he was challenging was a part of himself that had been hidden away, or if they were truly separate entities. As the day of the duel approached, Rondu trained rigorously, honing his skills and preparing himself mentally for the confrontation. He reflected on the mysterious voice that had spoken to him, revealing fragments of a life he couldn't fully remember. The notion that he and Silverback could be the same person was both terrifying and intriguing. "Who am I?" he asked himself repeatedly. The question drove him forward, fueling his determination to face Silverback and discover the truth. The time for answers was drawing near. The battle with Silverback would be the crucible in which his true identity would be forged. Rondu steeled himself for the challenge, knowing that whatever the outcome, he would emerge with a clearer understanding of who he was. On the day of the duel, Rondu stood ready, his mind focused and his heart resolute. As he stepped into the arena, he felt a sense of destiny, knowing that this fight would change everything. He would face Silverback not just as an opponent, but as a mirror to his own soul. With each step, Rondu felt the weight of his past and the promise of his future converging. The time had come to discover the truth, to face his greatest challenge, and to finally understand who he truly was. Let this battle reveal all, Rondu thought, his eyes fixed on the horizon where Silverback would soon appear. I will fight with everything I have, and in doing so, I will uncover the depths of my own identity. The stage was set, the challenge accepted. The answers lay just beyond the coming storm, and Rondu was ready to face them head-on. The solitary duel. Rondu stood alone in a desolate area, far from the eyes and ears of anyone who might witness the impending battle. The barren landscape was the perfect setting for the confrontation he had arranged, ensuring that no one else would be involved. This was his condition, and he had insisted upon it with unwavering determination. He had one overriding reason for this demand. Rondu did not want anyone to discover the truth about his identity, especially if it turned out that he and Silverback were indeed the same person. The thought of revealing such a profound and personal truth to others was unbearable. He needed to uncover the truth for himself first, away from the scrutiny and judgment of others. The possibility that he could be Silverback, the feared and powerful warrior, was something he had to face alone. As he waited, Rondu's mind was a maelstrom of thoughts and emotions. The mysterious voice that had spoken to him still echoed in his mind, filling him with doubts and questions. He wondered about his past, the memories that seemed just out of reach, and the strange sense of familiarity he felt whenever Silverback was mentioned. I need to know, he thought. But I can't let anyone else see me struggle with this. If I am Silverback, the revelation must come in private, without anyone else bearing witness to my confusion or potential weakness. Rondu's heart pounded in his chest as he sensed Silverback approaching. The air seemed to grow heavier, charged with the anticipation of the coming clash. Rondu's eyes were fixed on the horizon, his body tense and ready. The unraveling duel. As the first rays of dawn illuminated the horizon, the silhouette of a man wearing a black mask emerged. Rondu felt a strange familiarity with this figure, almost as if he were looking at a reflection of himself. He wondered if Lionheart's assertion that he and Silverback were the same person was a mistake. The masked man approached and spoke first. I am Silverback. We will fight under one condition. When one side is clearly winning, the victor must stop the fight. Rondu replied, today, we will fight with our bare hands. I've heard that all the strongest opponents in the underworld have fallen at your hands. Are you truly that powerful? Silverback responded, indeed. No more talking. Let's fight. Without another word, Silverback launched a powerful punch towards Rondu. Rondu stepped back, avoiding the blow with a fluid motion. He didn't strike back but continued to evade, stepping back and defending himself to gauge the true strength of his opponent. Silverback's attacks came swiftly and with precision. Each punch and kick carried tremendous force, a testament to his reputation. Rondu moved gracefully, dodging each strike, studying the rhythm and power behind Silverback's movements. As they danced around each other, Rondu could feel the intensity of Silverback's attacks. The ground beneath them seemed to tremble with each powerful blow that missed its mark. Rondu's heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from the realization that he was facing someone who could very well be his equal. Silverback pressed on, his strikes becoming more aggressive as he attempted to land a hit. He threw a series of rapid punches, followed by a sweeping kick aimed at Rondu's head. Rondu ducked and weaved, his reflexes sharp and his movements fluid. He felt the rush of air from Silverback's attacks, but remained untouched. "Is this all you have?" Rondu taunted, hoping to provoke Silverback into revealing more of his technique. Silverback's eyes narrowed behind the mask, his frustration evident. "You haven't seen anything yet," he growled. He changed his approach, using feints and sudden bursts of speed to catch Rondu off guard. Despite this, Rondu continued to evade, his focus unwavering. Rondu's mind raced as he observed Silverback's style. There was something eerily familiar about the way he moved, the way he executed his attacks. It was as if he were fighting a shadow of himself. Each movement, each technique seemed to mirror his own. "You're better than I expected," Silverback admitted, a hint of respect in his voice. "But you can't keep dodging forever." Rondu didn't respond. He knew Silverback was right, but he needed more time to understand his opponent's weaknesses. He continued to move defensively, his eyes locked on Silverback's every movement. Silverback lunged forward with a powerful straight punch, aiming for Rondu's face. At the last moment, Rondu sidestepped and countered with a swift strike to Silverback's ribs. The blow landed with a satisfying thud, causing Silverback to grunt in pain. It was the first time Rondu had struck back, and it gave him a brief moment of satisfaction. The imposter unveiled. As the battle raged on, Rondu began to notice a peculiar pattern in his opponent's movements. The strikes and kicks from Silverback lacked the force and precision that he had heard about. Each punch, while seemingly powerful, lacked the true strength that should accompany such a feared warrior. Rondu's mind raced as he analyzed the situation. "This is clearly a very elaborate ruse," he thought. "The person who trained Silverback understands my martial arts very well." Rondu decided to test his theory. He switched from a defensive stance to an all-out offensive, attacking with a barrage of powerful strikes. Silverback was immediately on the back foot, struggling to block and parry Rondu's relentless onslaught. The once imposing figure of Silverback began to falter, revealing more and more weaknesses with each passing second. Rondu's strikes came faster and harder, a whirlwind of fists and feet. Silverback's blocks were haphazard and clumsy, and he was unable to launch any counterattacks. As Rondu continued to press his advantage, it became increasingly clear that this Silverback was not the indomitable force he was reputed to be. Each strike that Rondu landed exposed further vulnerabilities, making it obvious that this Silverback was not the real deal. This Silverback is a fraud, Rondu realized. His opponent's ineptitude in the face of his attacks could only mean one thing: the true Silverback was not the one standing before him. Rondu's thoughts turned to the person who might be behind this deception. Someone who knew his fighting style intimately, someone who had trained this imposter to mimic his techniques. There was only one person who fit that description, someone who had once been very close to Rondu. The memory flashed through Rondu's mind, the shadowy figure who had trained him in his youth, teaching him every move, every technique. This person had an unparalleled understanding of his martial arts. It all started to make sense now. The trainer of this fake Silverback had to be someone familiar with his own skills, someone who had been part of his past. Rondu intensified his assault, his mind racing with the implications of this discovery. He had to unmask the fraud and find out who was behind this elaborate charade. Each punch and kick was aimed not just at defeating his opponent, but at uncovering the truth. Silverback, struggling to keep up with Rondu's ferocity, finally began to break. His defenses crumbled, and he staggered back under the relentless assault. Rondu seized the moment, delivering a final, decisive blow that sent Silverback sprawling to the ground. As the imposter lay there, defeated and gasping for breath, Rondu stood over him, his chest heaving with exertion and anger. "Who sent you?" he demanded. "Who trained you to mimic my techniques?" The fake Silverback coughed, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. You already know," he wheezed. "He knows you better than anyone." Rondu's suspicions were confirmed. The man behind this imposter was none other than the one who had trained him, someone who had once been a trusted mentor. The realization hit him like a thunderbolt. This was not just a random impersonation, it was a calculated move by someone deeply familiar with his abilities. Why? Rondu demanded, his voice filled with fury. Why go through all this trouble to deceive me? The imposter looked up at him with a pained expression. To test you, to see if you're ready for what's to come. Rage boiled within Rondu. This was more than just a fight, it was a manipulation, a game played by someone who knew him too well. He needed to get to the bottom of this, to find the person who had orchestrated this elaborate scheme. With a final, contemptuous glance at the defeated imposter, Rondu turned and walked away. His mind was set on one thing, uncovering the truth and confronting the mastermind behind this deception. He would not rest until he had answers. As he walked away, the dawn light casting long shadows on the ground, Rondu's determination burned brighter than ever. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but he was ready. He had to be. For the sake of his past and the truth about his identity, he would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Rondu's mind was a storm of thoughts and emotions. The revelation about the imposter and the realization that someone from his past was manipulating events from the shadows had shaken him to his core. He needed to find out more, to understand why this was happening, and most importantly, to discover his true identity. The battle with the fake Silverback had raised more questions than it answered, but it had also given Rondu a new sense of purpose. He knew he had to confront the person who had trained this imposter, to get to the heart of the conspiracy that seemed to surround him. The path ahead was uncertain, but Rondu felt a newfound resolve. He would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As he made his way back to the city, the weight of the recent revelations settled heavily on his shoulders. But with every step, his resolve hardened. He would not be deterred. He would find the answers he sought, and in doing so, discover his true self. The journey was just beginning, and Rondu was ready to face whatever lay ahead.